Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to Pandas tutorial. So guys, till now we have seen different kind of operations that we can do with Pandas. Let me just give you a quick review of what all things there we have discussed till now. First of all, we have seen how to import our Pandas package or library. Then we have seen how to read up our CSV, read our TSV files, what is data frame, and then we have seen how to read Excel file. Then we have seen certain parameters that we can pass inside our read underscore CSV function. Then we have seen many functions like tail, head that we can do with our data frame. And then we have seen about reading our HTML file. And okay, this is okay. Next we have seen about, okay, so this is where we are starting with our tutorials today, where I've imported my pandas package as pt. I'll execute this. Then what I've done, I've again taken this ex1, the first one that we used, this particular csv file, and I've read this file into a variable. Now this a variable type will be data frame, as I've mentioned earlier. When I execute this a, so this is my ex1 CSV file, ABCD message, and then the data contains over here, and 012 is the row indexes or the records. So records is nothing but rows. Now there is one function that we can do with our data frame. So a is our data frame. From now onwards, I won't tell it is a variable where we are reading our CSV or any other kind of files. It is a data frame, right? So this particular output 3 is my data frame. Now what if I want to know all the different data types that contains in this columns a b c d message? So there is this simple function which we can do, that is data frame dot data types, or a dot data types in this case. So I'm able to get all the data types which Python automatically, like, it knows what kind of data types is there. So we don't have to manually go and mention like we do in other programming languages in C, Java, and many more. So Python is smart enough to understand the data types. So if you want to know, suppose there are 100 columns and we want to know the data types of all the columns along with their names, so you just have to give the data frame dot this particular function. So there are many more. If you want, you can check by just clicking on the tab. So it's very easy to check if you want any other function that you need to use. Yeah, you will see over here there are many. Just go through all of this. You'll be able to understand this. Now moving on. Okay, what are we doing here? Okay, we are using one more function called as column for this data frame, where it will give me the total number of columns which is present in this a data frame. So over here it gives me the data types as well as column. But what if I need only the column names that is present for this a data type? So we'll give a dot columns function. So it will give me these are all data types which is present inside my ex1.csv, or the column headers, you will say. Next, moving on. Suppose, okay, what I have done is, we have already seen about the head and tail function, right? If we give any data frame a b c d, wherever we have stored our read our csv file or any other file format, and then we give dot head or dot tail, what it will give, it will give me, if nothing is mentioned in the parenthesis of head, so by default it will take the top 5 rows. Always remember this. If we press shift tab, it will say by default it is taking 5 rows, and the same goes for tail, it will give me the bottom 5 rows. So over here I haven't mentioned anything. Let me mention it as 2. It will give me top 2 rows. Now if you see this a data frame, it contains 5 columns. What if I need to get only one column data? So I'll just mention the column inside a square bracket. This is the syntax, this is the format. Just give the data frame a and then a square bracket, and then give the column for which you need the data. So suppose I need only 2 of the data, or suppose I'll leave it blank. It means it will by default give me 5 records. I'll execute this and you'll be able to find this is for particular my message kind of column, and this is the data that is stored inside my message column, hello world foo. If you go and see in this, yeah, it's same, hello world and foo. So this is how we can get for each columns. Suppose I want for message as well as for D column. So you might be guessing for now, like we can give comma over here and then just give D. It will execute and it will give me about this two columns, D and message. But you're wrong. This is not how it works. So what you need to do, you're passing two of the column names. But I've already mentioned this square bracket is not a list. Do not consider this as a list. This is a syntax or format in which you need to give. So you have to give one more square bracket. So this will be for list. So just give one more square bracket over here and then it will successfully be able to execute. See over here, now I am able to get message and D out of my ex1 CSV file. So D and message, and these are all the data. So whenever you need to get some of the columns out of the your data frame, then it is a must you need to give double brackets. Why? The outer one square bracket is just the syntax in which you'll be fetching your columns. If you want to fetch multiple columns, more than one columns, then you need to give a list. So for that you need to give one more square bracket, right? Now, having said that, we are talking about this head function. So I'll just tell you the functionality of head, what it actually does. So suppose I have my data over here. This is my data frame, or you can say the CSV file. So it contains this much number of rows and this much number of column. So whenever like we passing a dot head and then we are giving suppose 5, or if you don't give anything, it will take 5 rows. Suppose it contains 1000 rows, my data frame. So what head function does is it will read out all thousand rows, and then it will give me the top 5. If you're mentioning head, then it will give me the top 5. So this will be a kind of not a good practice for this function. Why? Suppose if there is 1 million or 1 billion data, it will read out all the data, and then after reading out whole 1 billion records, it will fetch the top 5. So it will be time taking for if the data is more and is huge. So head is not the good practice if there is more data, or you can say more records in your data frame. So what is the good practice? If I have shown over here is using n rows. So it works same to same as my head function. What are we doing here? I am reading one more ex6.csv. Let me just show you this CSV file. Yeah, so this is my comma separated file. Sorry. Yeah, so over here if we find there are many rows present. If I go and go, it's like millions of rows is present. If we perform head function in this data, then it will take time to load because it will scan through all the rows, and if you need only top two rows, then it will give me the top two rows. But the function that I was talking about, the parameter that we can pass is end rows, where it won't be fetching all the, or it won't be scanning all the records inside my data frame. It will only, if we are mentioning end rows equal to 10, then from top it will only go till 10 and it will give me the output. So this is how end rows works, and this is the difference between head function and end rows parameter. So it's always preferable to use end rows when there is many data sets or many records contained in your source file. So over here I mentioned end rows equal to 10, and you'll be able to find there are 10 records present in this data frame, which I'm able to get easily. If the same we need, then we can use head function, but it will scan all your records and then it will fetch 10 out of that. Okay, so now moving on, we have seen about this. Now moving on, we can go to our HTML, which we have discussed in our last tutorial, where we have imported this. Uh, I mean, we have read this HTML file. Let me just execute this again, and I have written h of 0. Why? Because all the tabular content inside this HTML file will be stored into 0th index, the first index. So it is arranged in the tabular format, as you can see in this output cell. So now moving on, next what we are doing is, this is n rows we have discussed, and this is our h of zeros. Now we have taken up this tabular format data, Okay, we have taken up this tabular format data into our console. This is where we are trying to execute it in our notebook. What if I need to export this tabular content into some of the file formats? Let's say CSV for now. So we know what our H of 0 contains. It contains all the COVID-19 cases in America. It contains that tabular format. And then just give a dot like we used to give in like we are giving a function, so we need to give a dot and then write to underscore CSV. So there are many more format in which you can execute. Just press tab and you'll be able to find that it can export in CSV file, it can export in Excel file, HDF, HTML, JSON, and many more files. So for now we are trying with CSV. So what it will do, it will make one CSV file in which it will store my H of 0 data. So H of 0 data is nothing but my COVID cases in America. And then I'll give the file name, or you can give the path if you need to store into some other directory. If like I'm just giving the name because I want it to be stored in the same directory as my Jupyter notebook. So for now, okay, I'll execute only this so that it won't be confusing. Okay, and then I'll comment it out by giving hashtag. So I'm executing this. It's successfully executed. Now I'll check. So okay, you see over here a minute ago 1657, now it's 1658, this CSV has been created. When I open this CSV, you will be able to find out that how easily I can export into any of the format from my Jupyter notebook. See, and if everything is in comma separated values because we are exporting in CSV file, so everything is comma separated. Now over here you if you need to change the separator, currently it is comma. If you need to change the separator, then it will be easy. Just execute. So I'll just decomment this. I'll just give separator equal to at the rate. Suppose I need to give at the rate. Okay, it looks fine. No, second. What I'll do, index equal to false. I don't think so it's necessary. Let me just restart my kernel. I think there is some issue. Yeah, it's restarting. Yeah, so we are given the separator as at the rate. Let me execute this and see. Okay, okay, haven't mentioned this single quotes over here, and then there is this comma separator equal to at the rate. Let me execute it again. Okay, name H is not defined. How come? Okay, I have restarted my kernel, so again I have to go and execute our HTML file. So if I execute this, what it will say? Okay, PD is not defined, so I have to import my pandas first again. Pandas as PD, and then I'll read this, then I'll read H of 0. Okay, this one executed. Then I'll execute my query to save it into a CSV file. It is done. Let me just reopen this file again, covid.csv. Now you will be able to see the separator now becomes as, instead of comma, it has replaced to at the rate. Yeah, you can see. Okay, so this is how we are going to export, or we need to extract our data into any of the file format. So now moving on, suppose I need to I need to read it out in the comment itself, right? So over here what we have seen is in the tabular format. The data that we have seen from the HTML is in the tabular format. Suppose I need to convert it into CSV and I don't need to save it into my local system or my ROM of my disk. I need to read it out in Jupyter notebook itself. So there is this a package called as SYS system. So I need to import this package, and then okay, let me execute this. Import pandas, and then so this is my data frame, right? What I'll do, I'll import this SYS, and then I give dot to CSV. The format is same. In that also we have used to CSV, and this also we'll be using to CSV, means it will extract into CSV kind of format. And then what we have given over here is a CSV file name where we want to store. Over here what we'll be giving, system std out. So it will give me output in my Jupyter notebook. So whenever I execute this, you will be able to find that this tabular data or the data frame has been converted into CSV file, comma separated file. Yeah. So this is how we are going to execute this if you want to read it out in our console itself. And if we need to save, then we have to give the path, and the same goes for all. Okay, so one more example. This is my B data frame which I have executed using ex5.csv. So this is my B data frame, something A, B, C, D, then message. Then there are two null values, or you can say as NaN, not a number values, which is basically a representation of null, which I have already mentioned. What I'm trying to do, I'm again trying to convert it into CSV file, and then I'm trying to read it out in console itself. Output should be in console, not to save in my local storage in my computer. Then what I'll give the same, what I'll give is NAREP. Yeah, NA representation. This is the full form of this parameter. If you want, you can see by clicking shift and tab, you'll be able to find NAREP over here. You just need to search. Yeah, you will be able to find over here in the top. So what I have given, this NA representation will be now at the rate. So wherever it will find the null values or NaN values, it will convert that to at the rate. So this also we can do. So pandas provide this accessibility to change your null value. If I do not understand this NaN, I just need to use null. I can do that also. So you'll be able to find this as converted, NaN has converted into null by just giving this parameter NA underscore REP. Yeah, so guys, I think the video is going too long, so that is it for today. We have seen how to read and write a file. We have seen certain parameters, some of the functions that is helpful in our later tutorial. So just practice and practice. So this is how you'll be able to learn any of the coding languages. So thank you so much guys for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe. And thank you so much. Stay healthy, stay fit. Bye bye.